first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at dealing with puncture. So in true Blue Peter style, here's one we've prepared earlier, a nice flat tyre. Now we need to take the wheel out so that we can deal with the problem. So open the brake, open the quick release and drop the wheel out. Okay. Now you'll notice that I'm not actually going to use any, I haven't got any tyre levers. I'm not going to use any tools to actually help me get the tyre off. I'm just going to show you a really simple technique that you can use on virtually any tyre. And that'll just save you a lot of time and hassle when you're out on the road. Okay, so first thing you need to do is you need to push your thumbs down into the top of the tyre and then get hold of the tyre and push it away from you, pushing the front bead of the tyre over the rim. And then basically, using all my weight, just push down, yeah, and the tyre and the tube just fall off the rim. And that's a really, really simple technique, and it does really work. It just takes a bit of practice, but once you've done it, you can save yourself a heap of time and you're not going to damage the tyre using tyre levers. The next thing we need to do is just make sure that we've got rid of whatever it is that's caused the puncture. Make sure there's no bits of glass or bits of metal stuck in the tyre. So carefully work your way around the tyre, both inside and out, just to make sure you've got the foreign object out of there. Once you've done that, the next thing you need to do is get the tyre back on the wheel. So to do this, basically position the tyre against the ground like so, and then using the wheel, trap the bead of the tyre against the floor. Yeah, and then it can't move anywhere. And then basically all you need to do is feed the edge of the tyre onto the rim, flicking it around with your finger, and there, it's fitted. Now the key thing there is to make sure that you don't pick the wheel up. As soon as you pick it up, the tyre will fall off. So leave it on the ground until you've got all one side of the bead fitted to the rim. So now what we need to do is obviously put our new inner tube in. So the first thing is just to make sure there's a little bit of air in the tube so that it's not all folded up. Yeah, we need to put a little bit of shape into the tube as we've done here. The next thing we need to identify is the valve and where it's going to go in the wheel. So position the valve hole at the top of the wheel, drop the valve through the rim, and then the next thing you need to do, which is really important, is position all of the inner tube inside the tyre. The next technique is to make sure that you just very carefully feed the tyre onto the rim. Yeah, and make sure you work in two directions at the same time. If you go one way or the other, the tyre will just keep falling off as you go around. So it's really important that you work around like a clock to make sure you don't take your hands off, because from now on you're going to force the tyre back on. Again, not using tyre levers. Just use the palm of your hand, make sure the tube isn't getting trapped, and just roll the tyre, yeah, until it pops back onto the rim. And it's as simple as that. Now we've got the tyre back on the rim, we need to just make sure that the inner tube is seated correctly in the tyre, and then we can pump it up. So to do this, again, it's real simple. All I'm going to do is basically just fold the tyre over, working my way around the tyre, checking both sides as I go, just to make sure that the tyre has got the inner tube seated inside it rather than trapped under it. So the next thing we're going to do is reinflate the tyre. So to do this, I'm going to use this track pump. Yeah. To reattach the head onto the valve and pump away. Now I want to look to put about 100 psi in. So now that that's up to pressure, simply just remove the head of the pump. Yeah, make sure you close the valve, because that's really important. And then we're ready to refit that back into the bike. So simply put the wheel back in the dropout, close the quick release, and most importantly, reattach the brakes, and then you're ready to go.